You hear that sound. A sharp, dry, rhythmic strike of hard stone against stone. This sound cuts through space like a whip. Your brain recognizes it in a split second, even if your back is turned, even if you are in the middle of a conversation, even if you are surrounded by the noise of a metropolis. It is not just the sound of footsteps, it is an acoustic trigger that hacks your nervous system before you even realize what is happening. Your pulse instantly quickens, your pupils dilate, letting in more light. This is the fight or flight response, but in this case, it turns into freeze and stare. You involuntarily turn around, you look for the source of the sound, and you see her. A high, thin stiletto heel, a tense calf with shadows playing on the muscle, the ideal predatory arch of the foot flowing into a slender ankle. In that moment, something inside you switches. Your iron will, your social status, your plans for the day, and your vaunted rational thinking crumble to dust. You feel a strange, frightening mixture of animal desire and sweet submission. You do not just want to look, you want to be there, down below, at her feet, to feel the weight of that heel on your chest, to let her step over you. It is an instant flash that lasts a second, but it changes your entire state. And immediately the policeman in your head turns on. Shame. You think, damn, is something wrong with me? Am I a pervert? Do I have a fetish? Am I sick? You try to push these thoughts away, hide them in the darkest corner of your subconscious. You are afraid that someone will see that gleam in your eyes. Relax. Exhale. You are absolutely fine. You are not sick, you are not a maniac, you are simply a male who has fallen into the oldest, most common, and most effective biological trap in human history. What you are feeling is not a dirty secret. It is the voice of evolution multiplied by a glitch in the architecture of your brain. Female legs and high heels are not just elements of fashion or wardrobe. This is a high-precision psychological weapon of mass destruction. It is designed to shut down the cerebral cortex and activate ancient instincts of submission and reproduction. And today, we are going to stop playing hide-and-seek with our own nature. We are going to crack this code. I will explain to you why millions of men, from geniuses of cinema like Quentin Tarantino to the fathers of psychoanalysis like Sigmund Freud, lost their minds at the sight of feet. We will take the scalpel of science and cut open your skull to find that specific error in the map of your brain that turns the signal, "I see a foot," into the signal, "I want sex." We will break down why Carl Jung, the great mystic of psychology, considered this a pull toward the archetype of Earth, and why your erection at the sight of stilettos is not a sign of weakness, but an attempt by your spirit to connect with matter. We will go through the shame, through the anatomy, and through the psychology of power. But I must warn you, the truth will be harsh. We will talk about biology without censorship, about dominance without sugarcoating, and about things that polite society usually keeps silent about. If you are not ready for the aggressive truth, close this video. But if you are ready to look your instincts in the eye, accept your nature, and learn to control it, hit the like button right now. This will be our pact of honesty. I do not judge you, and you do not judge yourself. We are figuring this out. And if you are here for the first time and looking for answers that will turn your life around rather than sweet, comforting lies, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because we are starting to dissect the fetish that rules the world. And before we move on to neurosurgery, a quick test of courage. Right now, hand on heart, answer in the comments honestly. Have you noticed that looking at female feet in heels triggers more emotions in you than even a deep neckline? Just write yes or no. Let us see how many honest people are here and who is still lying to themselves. Write it down and let's go.
Let us start with the cold, hard facts. Let us drop the poetry and romance for a second. Why feet exactly? Why does a female elbow, an ear, or a kneecap not drive you crazy? After all, from an evolutionary point of view, the foot is the most illogical part of the body for arousal. It is located at the very bottom, it touches the dirt, and let us be honest, it sweats and possesses no sexual characteristics. So why did this specific body part become the #1 fetish in the world? Why do search queries for feet on Google outpace queries for many other more traditional body parts? The answer does not lie in the beauty of women, and not in the perversion of men. The answer lies in the architecture of your brain. This is what is called the proximity bug. In 1937, Canadian neurosurgeon Wilder Penfield made a discovery that completely blows your mind if you think about its meaning. He studied the cerebral cortex and created what is known as the Penfield Homunculus. This is a map of our brain, where each part of the body corresponds to its own zone of nerve endings. Imagine this map. In the brain, there is a zone that processes signals from the hands. There is a zone for the face. There is a zone for the back. But these zones are not located in the same order as on our real body. And this is where nature played its main biological joke. Attention, the zone responsible for your genitals and the zone responsible for your feet are right next to each other. They are neighbors, sharing a thin wall. What does this mean for you, the modern man? For most people, neural boundaries work clearly. But for a huge number of men, estimates range from 15 to 40% to varying degrees, something happens that neurobiologists call cross-wiring. The signal from the visual image of a foot or touching it enters the brain into the somatosensory cortex. But because the wall between the apartments is too thin, the electrical impulse leaks into the neighboring department, into the department of sexual arousal. It is, essentially, a short circuit in your electrical grid. When you see her bare, well-groomed foot, your brain literally gets the wires crossed. It receives the signal foot, but interprets it as genitals. For your nervous system, at the level of pure physics, there is no difference between touching her foot and the stimulation of your reproductive organ. These are the same neurons lighting up on an MRI scan. So stop listening to half-educated psychologists who talk about childhood trauma or hidden aggression. The first reason is pure mechanics. It is a hardware glitch, or if you prefer, a feature hardwired into your motherboard before birth. Vilayanur Ramachandran, a famous neurobiologist, called this the accidental cross-activation of maps. Your brain wants to reproduce so badly that it expanded the search zone for pleasure, capturing the neighboring territory, the territory of feet.
But let us dig even deeper. This explains the feet, but it does not explain the shoes. Why do women wear these wildly uncomfortable stilettos that deform their skeletons? And why do men lose their will, turning into obedient zombies? Do you think it is about aesthetics? About fashion? Bullshit. It is about rigid, primitive biomechanics of mating. A high heel is a tool for the forced, I would even say violent, alteration of the geometry of the female body. When a woman stands on a stiletto 4 or 5 inches high, she does not just become taller, a chain reaction occurs in her entire skeleton, which your eye reads instantly. Watch closely. To maintain balance on such stilts, her center of gravity shifts. First, the pelvis is forcibly tilted backward. Second, the spine arches strongly in the lower back. Third, the buttocks lift, tense up, and visually become firmer and more prominent. Fourth, the chest is pushed forward. Fifth, the stride becomes short. Hips begin to sway with increased amplitude. In ethology, the science of animal behavior, this set of changes is called Lordosis posture. Remember this word, Lordosis. This is the posture a female primate, and many other mammals, adopts when she is ready for mating. In the wild, a female arches her back and lifts her pelvis only when she is ovulating and wants to let the male approach. What does the heel do? It artificially creates this posture. It emulates readiness for sex. Even if a woman is just standing at a bus stop, drinking coffee and thinking about a quarterly report, her body is screaming to your subconscious, "I am ready, take me." Her conscious mind may say no, but her biomechanics say yes. Your ancient reptilian brain, the amygdala, does not see a fashion brand like Louboutin or beautiful leather. It sees a superstimulus. It sees a female in a state of peak fertility who has arched her back, signaling availability. You're not reacting to a piece of plastic and wood. You are reacting to the promise of immediate sex. It is biological hacking. And women, even the most modest ones, know this intuitively. They say, I wear heels for myself. I feel more confident. Of course they feel more confident, because in that moment they are broadcasting a powerful signal of dominance through sexuality. They use the heel as a fishing hook with bait, and you are that fish swallowing this bait, hook, line, and sinker, without even understanding what happened. Your brain has been hacked. But the proximity bug and lordosis are just the top layer. This is just physics. The scariest and most interesting part begins where anatomy ends and psychology begins, where Carl Jung, archetypes, and your hidden thirst for power and humiliation come into play. Oh yes, we are moving to the darkest part of our conversation.
We dealt with the neurons. We understood that there is a short circuit in your head. But let us be honest. Anatomy alone does not explain that wild, almost religious obsession with which men worship female feet. If it were only about neurons, you would look at feet the same way you look at breasts, with desire, but without reverence. But here, everything is different. Here there is a flavor of a cult. This is where Carl Gustav Jung and his theory of archetypes come into play. Let us look into the very abyss of your unconscious. What is a foot from the point of view of symbols? It is the lowest point. It is the foundation. It is what touches the ground, the dirt, the world of matter. Jung said, woman is earth. She is the embodiment of nature, chaos, and fertility. Man is spirit, logos, intellect. We eternally hover in the clouds of our ideas, plans, ambitions, and abstractions. We are detached from reality. And when a man sees a female foot, his subconscious reads it as an entry point into reality, a grounding point. When you touch her feet, you are trying through her to connect with the archetype of the Great Mother, with nature itself. You want to return home. It sounds lofty, but let us add our signature aggressive truth here. Feet are the dirtiest part of the body, literally. They walk on asphalt, bacteria live on them, they sweat, and it is precisely this contrast that drives you crazy. There is an element of transgression here, a violation of a prohibition. In the culture of any nation, to be at someone's feet means to be defeated. Enemies were thrown to the feet. Slaves kissed the feet of masters. This is a posture of absolute, total submission. So why are strong, successful, dominant men, businessmen, politicians, fighters, so drawn specifically to feet? Why do they, commanding armies at work, want to crawl before a woman in the evening? It is a paradox that blows the brain, but it is logical. It is the need for surrendering power. In ordinary life, you are the alpha. You make decisions every second. You carry the weight of responsibility for your family, for your business, for your money on your shoulders. You are constantly tense like a taut string. Your psyche craves relief. It needs a vacation. The fantasy of foot worship is the best psychotherapeutic tool for an overloaded male brain. For a second, you stop being the boss. You take off your crown and become a servant. You allow the woman, symbolically, to step on you. You give up control. And in this moment, bliss arrives. Not sexual, but psychological. You are resting from your own strength. Remember this thesis. A weak man, a loser, who is already a doormat in life, often does not need a foot fetish in this form. He is already humiliated by the world. But a strong man likes to fall at feet to prove to himself, I am so strong that I can afford even this. I can descend to the very bottom and not break. This is a play on contrasts. A king washing the feet of a beggar is a biblical plot.
It is the highest form of power through humility.
And women feel this. Oh, they understand this perfectly. A woman whose feet a man is massaging feels absolute, boundless power. She sits higher. You are lower. You are caring for that part of her body that tramples the ground. In this moment, she is a goddess on a pedestal to you. This is the drug of power that you get her hooked on, and if you do it right, she will be more addicted to you than to any gigolo with money. But only if you do it right. And here we approach the main fork in the road, because some men use this instinct to control a woman, while others use it to finally lose themselves and turn into a rag. The line between an aesthete and a simp is thinner than a 20-denier stocking. And now we will find out who you are. Enough theory. Let us move on to diagnostics. I have divided all men who encounter an attraction to female feet, and remember, that is almost half of us, just to varying degrees, into 3 psychotypes, the 3 horsemen of the fetish. Listen carefully to the description and look for yourself, or your friends. The truth may be unpleasant, but it is necessary so you do not lose your mind. Type 1, the repressor neurotic. This is the most common and most dangerous type. Outwardly, this man is a rock. If the conversation in a group turns to fetishes, he will be the first to twist his face and say, "Ugh, how disgusting! Feet! That is unhygienic. Who could possibly like that?" He aggressively denies the very possibility of such an interest. But what happens when he remains alone in the darkness of his bedroom with a phone in his hands and incognito mode turned on? His browser history will tell a completely different story. He greedily consumes content with feet, stilettos, and stockings, but he does it with a feeling of deepest shame and guilt. Diagnosis: conflict of consciousness and shadow. Jung warned, what you resist persists. The repressor spends a colossal amount of energy fighting his nature. This suppressed energy turns into neurosis, aggression toward women, or strange breakdowns. Danger: highest level. It is precisely these righteous men who most often end up as clients of mistresses in latex dungeons where they pay crazy money to be humiliated, because a spring that has been compressed for a long time always shoots back in the face. Type 2, the doormat, simp, or payer. This type does not hide his attraction, but he has chosen the most losing strategy of all possible ones. He has made feet his deity and himself a victim. He writes in comments under photos of models, "Goddess, can I buy you shoes? Can I be your footstool?" He buys photos of feet on OnlyFans, spending half his salary on it. He is ready to tolerate the whims and disrespect of a real woman just so she occasionally allows him to give her a massage. He thinks his submission is a manifestation of love or service, but in reality, it is the complete castration of the male core. Diagnosis: loss of subjectivity. Such a man has no self. He has dissolved into the object of desire. Women despise such men. They can use their money, they can keep them in the friend zone as free masseurs, but they will never, do you hear me, never want them as men. Danger: complete degradation of personality and financial collapse. This path leads nowhere. You do not become an admirer, you become a function, furniture. Type 3, the owner aesthete and predator. And now pay attention. This is the very type you must strive for. This is a rare beast. The owner knows about the bug in his brain. He knows that stilettos and the arch of a foot arouse him, and he is absolutely calm about it. He is not ashamed like Type 1 and does not crawl like Type 2. He uses this passion as fuel. He has integrated his shadow. When he sees beautiful feet, he does not ask for permission to touch. He takes them, confidently, dominantly.
He can buy a woman the best shoes, but not as a tribute to a goddess, but as a gift to his property, so that she adorns his life. When he gives a massage, it is not the massage of a servant, it is the massage of a master who knows every point on his woman's body and knows how to drive her to ecstasy with a single press of a finger. Diagnosis: integrated masculinity. For him, the fetish is just another facet of pleasure, another tool of control and intimacy. Women go crazy with such men because they feel the strength. He can kiss her foot, but a second later, he will flip her over and take her as roughly as she dreamed. He plays with roles, but always remains the director. Right now, while you are processing these three types, ask yourself a question. Where are you, and where do you want to be? Because right now, we're moving to practice. Part 4. Instrumental Protocol Technique of Ownership. Layer 4. Practice. So, you decided to become an owner, not a doormat. You want to interact with female feet, but in a way that raises your status, not drops it below the baseboard. For this, you need to master the hard grip technique and learn to conduct the submission test. Remember the main rule of relationship biomechanics. Whoever controls the limbs controls the body. Whoever controls the body controls the mind. In wrestling, if you have captured the opponent leg, he is yours. In sex, it works the same way, only instead of pain, you use pleasure and fear. The main mistake of a simp is that he touches feet gently, timidly, barely touching, as if afraid to break or dirty them. He strokes, he tickles. This causes either laughter, irritation, or the feeling that a servant is nearby. Such touches do not arouse, they put to sleep. A man of the owner type touches differently. First rule: no fingertips. You use the entire palm. The grip must be firm, hot, and confident. It is as if you are claiming rights to this part of the body. Second rule: fixation. Do not let her jerk her leg. If she tries to pull her leg away, you hold it. Not aggressively, not to the point of bruises, but with unambiguous strength. This is a non-verbal signal. I am holding you. You are not going anywhere until I let go. This micro moment of violence against her will releases a cocktail of adrenaline and oxytocin into her blood. When you do a massage, do not be afraid to cause slight pain. There are hundreds of pain points and spasms on feet from wearing heels. Knead them hard. Work the deep muscles. This is called borderline pain, pain that transitions into pleasure upon relaxation. The woman must feel your strength, not your fawning. She must understand these hands can hurt, but right now they give pleasure. It is this contrast that births animal attraction. And now, the most important part. You can use a foot massage as an ideal lie detector. This is a test that will show you who is in front of you, a woman ready to follow you, or a hidden controller who will suck all the juice out of you. Essence of the test. In a moment of intimacy, or in the evening on the couch, confidently take her foot. Do not ask for permission. "Honey, can I give you a massage?" is a failure. Just take it. Place it on your lap. Start massaging the arch of the foot, pressing hard with your thumb, and watch her reaction closely in the first 30 seconds. The body does not know how to lie. Result: a trust green light. Her muscles relax. The leg becomes heavy in your hand. She throws her head back or closes her eyes. Her breathing slows and becomes deep. Verdict: she trusts you. She is ready to give up control. She feels safe next to you. With such a woman, you can build a strong relationship and a family. She has accepted your leadership. Result B: resistance, red light. She tenses up. She giggles, jerks her leg, says it tickles even if you are pressing hard, not tickling. She tries to pull her foot away or starts fussing, adjusting clothes, grabbing her phone. Verdict: she has issues with trust and control. She cannot relax. She's afraid to appear vulnerable. Ticklishness, in 90% of cases, is a psychosomatic defense. The body puts up a block, If she cannot trust you even with a foot, she will never trust you with her life or raising children. With her, you will eternally fight for power. Result C. Commander, blacklight. She does not resist, but starts directing. Not here, press here. Harder. No, softer. You're doing it wrong. She turns into a customer of services. Verdict: she sees you as service staff. She does not know how to be grateful. She only knows how to demand and evaluate. If you swallow this and start trying to please, congratulations, you have officially become Type 2, the doormat. Drop her leg, literally, and leave. This cannot be cured.
And the last technical point. How not to remain the guy who likes feet, but become the best lover of her life. Remember, feet are not the final goal. They are a gateway. They are the front door. Many fetishists get stuck on feet. They can mess around with them for hours, forgetting about the rest of the body. This is a mistake. You must use the arousal from feet as a springboard. Rev up her psyche through foot massage. Wait for the moment when she melts, result A, and at that moment, sharply change location, move higher. The hand glides from the ankle to the knee, from the knee to the hip. The impulse accumulated below must fire up top. This creates the effect of connectedness. The woman understands you love her feet not separately from her. You want her whole, and feet are just the path to her center. This makes you not a weird maniac in her eyes, but a sophisticated gourmet who knows the secret buttons. Use this knowledge, practice the hard grip, test women, and you will see how their gaze changes. The mockery will disappear. That same gleam that Sigmund Freud looked for will appear. The gleam of primitive desire to submit to a strong male who is not afraid of his desires. Let us summarize everything we cracked open today. We started with you hearing the sound of heels and losing your will. We took apart your brain and found the neighborhood bug between feet and genitals there. We saw how women use the Lordosis posture to hack your biomechanics. We looked into the abyss of the psychology of power and realized that the pull toward feet is a pull toward grounding and the temporary surrender of control. The main conclusion you must burn into the subcortex of your brain is this: do not be ashamed of your instincts. Nature is wise and cynical. If she sewed this bug into your brain, if she preserved it through millions of years of evolution, it means it is needed for something. Perhaps it is this mechanism that allows a man, the eternal wanderer and conqueror, to find a reason to return home, to her, to the earth, to her feet. But here lies the final, most terrible trap, the trap of balance. Remember the formula for ideal relationships that they will not write in women's magazines. In the bedroom, you can be a slave, but in life, you are obligated to remain a king. It is this contrast that keeps a woman next to you. If you are a king everywhere, you become a tyrant, and she will dry up without emotions. If you are a slave everywhere, that same doormat, she will wipe her feet on you in the literal and figurative sense, and then leave for someone who does not listen to her. The secret is in the switch. You must be capable of falling to her feet, kissing them with frantic passion, giving her the feeling of total power over you, but exactly 15 minutes later, when you leave the bedroom, you must take the helm again and steer the ship of your family on a hard course, not asking her permission for every sneeze. Use your fetish as a game, as a spice, as a way to release tension, but never, do you hear, never allow this game to go beyond the bedroom limits. You can worship her feet, but you have no right to allow her to trample your dignity, your goals, and your principles. The moment you start pleasing a woman to the detriment of your mission, you die as a man, and your fetish turns from a source of strength into your curse.
And this brings us to a much more global problem. We live in a world that tries to castrate you not only physically, but also mentally. They tell you that your aggression is toxicity, that your desire to look at women is harassment. that your instincts are a social construct that needs to be fixed. Modern culture tries to make you a convenient, genderless consumer. It wants you to be ashamed that you are a man. It wants you to crush the beast inside you until it devours you from within in the form of depression or impotence. This is called the crisis of masculinity. And this is not an accident. This is the systematic destruction of testosterone. In the next video, we will raise a topic that will burn many people. We will talk about why the world is trying to turn you into a woman, how soy, plastics, and porn are killing your hormonal background, and most importantly, how to preserve your male core in the era of total tolerance and weakness. This will not just be a video. This will be a survival manifesto. If you do not want to miss this breakdown, check right now if you are subscribed to the channel and if the bell is clicked. YouTube does not like such truth and often does not show these videos even to subscribers. So take control into your own hands. And one last thing. Write just one word in the comments if you watched until this second. Write the word owner. Let this be a signal that you have accepted your nature, you understood the rules of the game, and you are ready to command your instincts, not be their slave. I will read every comment. See you in the next video. Be predators, not prey.